this month we do have the library that's presenting their banner program that they want to do for the veterans, which is a great idea. And it's not too late to still purchase them, correct?
Well, here's the thing. We are oversold. And anyone who's, yes, I do actually have one spot because they're double bracketed. So if we sell one, we have to sell the other. I do have one spot. That spot is going to be $149 because it will pay for the banner and it will pay for the brackets, which we could only fund up to 40. So there are 33 polls. And so that means that we can handle 66, but some of those poles are close to the stairs that have, are no longer there. So that's not the most optimal placement. So,
all right. So what we'll do is, why don't you get into, well, let's do introductions and then we'll get into your presentation and we'll continue. Gabor?
My name is Gabor Karsai. I used to be active and now I'm just representing Rotary International.
There you go. Jamae?
Hi, everyone. Jamae here. I am with the Glen Cove Chamber of Commerce, Vice President there, and I'm happy to be the treasurer with the IAC. And I'm also happy to announce I just got another position with the Waterfront Center in Oyster Bay, and I'm their development coordinator there.
Beautiful. Happy. It's 2 months, that's why. Lydia?
I'm Lydia, and I work as an archivist and librarian for the public library.
Beautiful. Nancy? Oh, you're muted.
I'm representing the Hersey Foundation.
Thank you, Nancy. Carolyn?
Carolyn Wilson, Vice President of IAC. Oh, and representing the North Shore Historical Museum. Sorry.
Dr. Israel?
Mike Israel, Assistant Superintendent, Curriculum, Instruction, and Technology, Glen Cove School District.
Jill?
I am Jill Nosai. I'm with the Glen Cove BID. I've taken on the role of Assistant Director since January.
Perfect. Sorry, I'm just trying to send a link. Travis?
Pastor Travis E. from Trinity Lutheran Church.
Phyllis?
Phyllis Burnett, Kiwanis Club of Glen Cove, and the coordinator for medical transportation, and a whole bunch of other things.
You can't curse on this platform. Carolyn? Carolyn Wilson. Why did that come up for Cindy? Cindy?
I'm looking at that and I have no idea why. I just noticed it. This is not Carolyn Wilson. This is Cindy Rogers, and I'm with Congressman Tom Suozzi.
Thank you. AKA Carolyn Wilson. Cindy, when I leave, just let Jamae and Carolyn know if you guys are going to do that presentation next month.
Yes, we are.
Okay. Yeah, next
Vero?
month. Yes.
Yeah. Are you still going to also have Rhoda and Dan Vogren?
Yeah, why not? I think it's enough time.
Okay. Because I already asked them. Okay.
Perfect. There's more than enough time. Marissa?
Hi, I'm Marissa. I work at the Glen Cove Public Library. I do their social media, and I'm here to support Lydia in her presentation. And I just want to see what's going on in the world of Glen Cove. So thanks for having me.
Perfect. Ron?
Hi, folks. Ron Roel. I'm a writer specializing in senior and intergenerational issues. I represent AARP on our council.
Perfect. Sharon?
Hi, good morning. Sharon Harris, Executive Director of S.A.F.E, Inc. and past President of the Interagency Council.
Anne?
Not sure why, but I'm coming up as Ann Fangman, but as you all know, I'm Camille Byrne, and I'm the Executive Assistant for the Glen Cove CDA and IDA.
Okay, Anne. Kathy?
Is Kathy Evett? I'm not sure if Spiro, you're referring to me.
Yes, I'm sorry, Kathy.
Oh, hi, sure. First time on this committee. I'm representing Island Harvest, and I'm a nutritionist there. I'm in charge of their nutrition education, counseling, and support programs. And actually, Jemay, I tried to reach you, and I did not know why I was left a message to call you. I thought you were calling me. But just to let you know, I will be the representative moving forward for Island Harvest. If you could include me on email information for the group. Thank you.
Yes, welcome. We will connect after this. I just want to solidify your membership. That's all. But that's great. Thank you.
Sure, sounds good. Okay, thanks so much.
Georgie? Is it Georgie? All right, we'll get back to that one. Deanna?
Hi, good morning. I represent Harbor Child Care, and happy to be here. I haven't been to a couple of the meetings, the last couple of meetings that we had, so I'm glad to be back.
Thank you. I am not sure, but somebody from Glen Cove Child Daycare?
Yes, hi. Oh, am I muted? No.
No,
Okay.
you're good.
Hi, my name is Mareza Rivera. I'm the Parent Involvement Coordinator at the Glen Cove Child Daycare Center.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Francesca, I saw you take off my name.
Hi, I'm Francesca Carbon. I'm the social worker for S.A.F.E.
Perfect. I think I got everyone, right? Okay, Lydia, it's all yours.
Oh, hey, great. Let me share my screen. You have to allow me to share my screen. It says disabled share, so if you could.
Jemay, you hold the power.
I think it should be good now.
Okay.
And again.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Hold on. Hold on. Allowed. Can you see it?
We see it, but it has Jemay. Now it has me.
All right.
Okay, now.
Now, good.
Now can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right. I thought I would share a little bit about the history of the library. So there's some good pictures in here. This is the timeline. So in 1894, on August 7th, 1894, 175 legal voters of the school district number 5 of the town of Oyster Bay approved a resolution establishing the Glen Cove Public Library. The initial collection contained only 938 books and 1 map. And according to the first annual report in 1896, the library was open 3 hours a week. That is 1 hour on 3 separate days. For the sole purpose of lending books, there was no reading room. And from the year of its founding until 1934, the library occupied the left wing of the old high school at the corner of Forest Avenue and DeSoris Lane.
Oh.
By 1897, the charter was granted by the University of the State of New York, and a total number of volumes increased to 1,572 volumes, and the receipts totaled $543.95, of which $300 was from the local taxation. The amount spent for books was $388.46, and for salaries was only $13, and this was only paid for librarian services when the school librarian was on vacation. It may seem incredible, but the minutes stated that it was not until December 1931 that the board decided to have a telephone installed in the library. And this is a picture of Carolyn Reed Coles, our first librarian.
Was she related to
yes,
the same Coles School? Was Coles School?
The Coles School, and also Robert R. Cole's history room that I work in. And from 1934 until 1938, the library occupied the Wright homestead, which was then demolished to make way for the east wing of the present high school. From 1938 to 1956, the library was housed in the preschool Crystal Spring Building at the corner of Continental Place and Pratt Boulevard. Lewis M. Allen was the librarian in charge of both moves. And by that time, there were 18,000 books. From 56 to 1959, while the new site was under construction, this is our present home, the Crystal Spring Building was slated to be demolished again. And the library had to move into two widely separated locations, a store west of the city core and the basement of the South School. And then the present building we're in was dedicated September 13th, 1959. Now in 1981, the Robert R. Coase Long Island History Room was dedicated. Robert R. Coase was a historian, astronomer, author, and educator. And as a trustee of the Glen Cove Public Library for 21 years, Coase was the guiding light behind the founding of the Long Island History Room. He was born and raised in Glen Cove. He was a descendant of one of the original settlers and most of the contents of the history room were generously donated or loaned by the Coase family. He was also the chairman and department of astronomy and Hayden Planetarium at the American Museum of Natural History. And fun trivia about him, he was also the president of the Interplanetary Development Corps, which in 1955 sold the entire crater of Copernicus on the moon. So he would sell these deeds, 1 acre each on the moon. And in total, he was actually able to sell 20,000 acres on the moon. And in 2002, we had an expansion of the library. It was refurbished and expanded the community room downstairs. We had additional meeting rooms and galleries added. We had a new kitchen facility and bathroom downstairs and installed an outdoor ramp and ADA compliant elevator. So since the pandemic, we've done a lot of virtual programming, but we have begun to open up the library for in-person program. And I'm proud to say that the children's department is now fully open in person. So these are 3 pictures taken from our recent programs from Volunteers for Wildlife. We had parachute story time, we have craft time. And in the next, in March and April, we will be having Animals Alive by Alley Pond Park Environmental Center. We will continue with story time both during weekday and on the weekends. And we will have a chestnuts workshop. In addition to having in-person program, we are still offering things to go, bags to go. So these are curated bags. Patrons can fill out a form of things that they're interested in, denoting the ages of the children, and they can either pick it up or we would actually do home deliveries every other week. And then down here we have curated theme books such as learning to read, sight words, sign languages. And then we have recently added more passes for our museums and cultural institutions or gardens. Some of them are print on demand and some of them are library pickup. We have a total of 28 passes. We are also offering homework help, both in person and online. Tutor.com provides online one-to-one tutoring in over 40 subjects. They also offer homework help and career services. So their tagline is from kindergarten through college, graduate school, continuing education, and career. And the services are available every day from 2 to 10 p.m. And this includes Spanish and English. Our teens are volunteering between 7th and 12th graders to become homework helpers, and they are here every Thursday between 5:30 to 6:30. And in addition to them helping, they also can earn community service. So the teen zone, as you can see from the picture, it's a separated area. We have gaming, we have PCs, and also Mac. So it's a physical and virtual space set aside just for teens. And upcoming programs include Teen Advisory Board, which happens every first Thursday at 7 p.m. of the month. Volunteer programs include the homework help that I mentioned before, additional community service hours. They recently did something called Troupons, which was cutting coupons and sending them to troops, which they could be used in commissaries. They could also earn community service for doing book reviews. Lauren, our teen librarian, has a lot of college prep and admissions programs set up, and also programs including public speaking, gaming, and maker space. For literacy, we have a lot going on. For ESL, for beginners, we have 2 levels and intermediate classes. We have 12 classes starting in April, and it's only $30 and includes the textbook. We continue to offer GED test preparation, writing classes for GED and college, citizenship test preparations in English and in Spanish. We have virtual intermediate English conversation on weekday nights and Saturdays. We're also offering basic computer classes in both English and Spanish. Our social worker, who is a Stony Brook intern, is working by appointment and through May. And between May and September, we will have a break. And in September, we will have a new intern. But in person is on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and by Zoom at night is on Thursdays. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the Veterans History Project that the History Room is doing. The Veterans History Project is a project of the American Folklife Center of the Library of Congress. We have had the pleasure of interviewing 4 veterans from Korean War to Afghanistan, and they come in, they share their photos with us or primary documents in like letters or diary entries, and we gather all of that plus their oral history, and we send it off to the Veterans History Project, which will be made available on their website. But all of these are reside right now on the local history page of our website. And we're looking for help. We've reached out to Atria, to the Regency, to Sunrise to see if there are veterans that are living there that can't make it into the library, and that we would go there to interview them. So if you know any veterans that would like to participate in the project, please contact me. And lastly, I just want to talk a little bit about our author talks and our book clubs and our homebound delivery. We also offer homebound delivery for adults. Denise, who is the person who does the deliveries, she does it every other week, and she visits nursing homes or goes to people's homes and orders books for them. And Marissa, who's also on this call, she works with Carol Stern, our librarian who does the author talks. The virtual author talks happen once a month, usually on a Tuesday, and they have become really, really popular. I want to say the last one had over 500. I think Marissa was like 550, something like that. So the next one we have is called the Women's March, and that's happening on March 22nd. We're also part of Long Island North Shore Reads, which includes 7 other libraries, and it's an annual event at the Swan Club. So we have a lot of copies of The Living and the Lost, which is the book that will be featured. Come into the library and get it. Marissa is also starting a How to Start a Book Club program, and that will meet in person on April 6th. She will teach people on how to start a club, how to get participants, and also share how the library can help by having books ready for participants. So for instance, she is in a book club and they're reading, oh boy, I forget the title, but we have like 8 different copies, either in large print, regular print, or audio format. And we keep that behind the circulation desk, so members of those book clubs could come in and just check them out whenever. And that is all that I have to share. We have a lot going on. It's difficult to share everything. So check out our newsletter And I also want to say that we're hoping that the community room, which is being renovated right now, will be done by September, and that in-person programming would really kick off by then. Thank you.
I think I saw a question from Anne somewhere about social worker. What clientele services does the library social worker serve?
Oh boy,
from Camille, sorry.
plethora, a whole plethora. I mean, I've heard people come in to for housing. They come in for other social services, just filling out forms for guidance. So it's really one-on-one. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Lydia. We have one more presentation today. Francesca will be leaving us, so this is her last meeting and her last presentation, so it better be good.
Our best.
I know the SAFE office, and I'll let Sharon discuss that after I leave, is looking for somebody. We do have a job description up that will change. We're going to update that. But Sharon, when Francesca's done, if you just want to tell everyone a little bit about the position, because I will not be here. All right, Francesca, show's yours.
Okay.
Everyone else, have a good month. I'll see you next month.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, Camille, very cute. Thank you so much. Okay, let me share this. Okay. Okay, so month of March is Problem Gambling Awareness Month. So every year, obviously, SAFE comes together and does different type of prevention efforts and presentations about what problem gambling is, such as we go into the senior center, do that with the seniors as well, and also with you guys here. So for people who don't know, SAFE is a nonprofit agency established to combine the strengths of the public and private sectors in the community to provide alcohol and drug prevention services. It is the only certified substance abuse prevention agency in Glen Cove, and we emphasize substance abuse intervention education also to the youth within the Youth Bureau, all that stuff, but we also touch upon other things such as problem gambling, because that can also lead to other harder substances and addiction through that. Let me just go with this so I can see. Okay, what is gambling? So it is to risk something of value on an event or game of chance with the hope of a desired result. This can be an in-person or over the phone, and now also via internet with all the exchanging of money. There is evidence that the first forms of gambling were in the form of Keno slips, which are used in about the 200 BC, and that was some sort of lottery to fund that state, which also worked in China at the time. But now gambling is used in a whole bunch of commercial gambling. You can do the lotteries, the instant lotteries, number games, sports betting, horse betting, fantasy sports, there's poker, there's different card games, obviously the casinos, bingo even, and now as technology has advanced, we have a lot of electronic game machines that even now also we see could be potential to leading people into addiction or to harder avenues of gambling. The internet, so it was open to the public in 1991. The first online bet was in 1996. Some of the legal ways people gamble over the internet now is through mobile sports betting, horse racing, and the New York Lottery. Online casinos, which are not currently legal in New York State, people are doing, and also social casinos, which are legal, and that allows people to gamble without real money. Some of these little icons here, Bitcoin, PayPal, all that, that's an easy transaction people can do while they're playing the game on the internet, on their phones, whatever app, online, on the computer. It's just one click and you're in, and you pay what you have, and that is just that easy access people are getting now to just gamble, and it becomes that addiction over time as you're using it more. So why is internet gambling so risky? This is a big one now as technology has advanced so much in today's world due to the easy access and availability. It's the fast-paced environment, and the absorption, the fact or state of being engrossed in something. There's a decreased perception of money and time during, when someone is playing or gambling, because in today's society, there is so much time where our youth spend a lot of time on their games, and that becomes a parallel in the escape behavior and time lost activities. So you're almost just in this own little world yourself, and you lose track of all the other stuff because you're so focused on whatever you're doing, whatever game you're playing. And it is that kind of quick thrill factor, instant gratification feeling they get when they play. So gaming also coincides with this now, especially with the younger generation. Gaming refers to playing electronic games, whether through a console, computers, mobile phones, or any other medium. Differences in gambling and gaming. Gambling is to risk something of value or an event or game of chance with the hope of a desired result. Gaming is playing a game for some type of entertainment. But as if we see here in this type of game down here, known as Grand Theft Auto game, they actually have a full functioning casino that your character can play or walk through, whatever. So even though some kids who are playing certain games aren't necessarily gambling, they're still being exposed to that type of scene. And that then can create that type of, it's kind of luring them in a different way when they're much younger too. So why is gambling related games so risky? It's inflated payouts, normalization as it is a very popular normal thing to do now in society. So we're normalizing it. There's favorable attitudes for it. There's transition to gambling is easy and quick to do. And in-game spending happens. So while you play, you can bet and buy just by a few clicks on your phone or on your screen. And that then just happens to give a little taste into gambling. So I also have done our life skills training program with the kids in the middle school and elementary school. And they were telling me the type of games they play and all that stuff. And a lot of times it's Roblox, it's this other type of game they were talking about. And even though it seems very harmless and it's like little character building or whatever, you can still buy and purchase certain things on there and win money for certain games you play. And even though it's not necessarily, full on gambling, but it is that little bit of taste about it when they're still so young. So, and it becomes thrill seeking in a sense, because if they keep winning, they keep playing, they keep buying and spending and using their money, it just starts them so much younger. So when we focus on the youth, we realized that 39.5% of New York State youth between the ages of 12 and 17 have gambled in the past year. Whether it's either playing the lottery, scratch offs, betting money on raffle charity games, or even betting money on sports. 30% of youth stated that they began gambling at or before age 10. And in New York State, the legal age for gambling is 18 years old, even though some stores sell liquor and set their legal age to gamble at 21 years old. So people don't really realize that, what the legal age actually is for gambling at some stores or some places where they sell it. Older people might not know this, so they may be even supporting their younger ones into some gambling activities and not really realizing that it's legal, because it is very normalized and people think it's not that big of a deal. But in some cases, it can start off their addictions later on. So a little statistic for betting money over the internet. The New York State Office of Addiction Services and Supports, known as OASS, know that in the past 5 to 10 years, there has been a decrease in 7th to 8th graders betting on money over the internet, which is good, but compared to the 9th and 12th graders, which have slowly gone up for them. And that would make sense. As you're older, you have more freedom to do more things. Therefore, you're going to be spending more, you're going to be doing more, because you are able to seek that thrill factor, those games, the lottery, all that stuff. You're able to do more because you have more of an independence. So daily video gaming among youth. So this is a big one now, especially with COVID happening. A lot of kids obviously were cooped up and had only a few things to do at the time. So we have seen that increase as well. For 21 minutes a day, that was 2 to 4 year olds. For 42 minutes, 5 to 8 year olds. For 2 hours, it was 8 to 12 year olds. And for 2.5 hours, probably or more, it was 13 to 17-year-olds. So the maturation process of the adolescent brain is not complete until around age 25. But if we realize how much time our youth is spending in front of a TV screen or a video game or computer console or whatever, or even their, their tablets, and now with their phones, that isn't a lot of that extra time that they've had when they were, when technology wasn't as advanced then back in the day, to really, utilize their brain activity. They're not doing that as much now. And you see that in some cases. Consequences of underage gambling. There's high rates of depressive symptoms. There's an increased risk of alcohol and substance abuse disorder. There's increased risk of suicide ideation and attempt. There's higher anxiety, poor general health overall for kids. There's delinquency, crime, disrupted relationships, poor academic performances, and the big one is obviously potential for addiction when they start underage gambling. It's just we see it slowly increasing, and that can be a concern in the future. Other problem gambling consequences, it can lead to financial problems, relationship problems, difficulties at work or school with people, lack of time for important activities or with people. Because when your sole addiction is one thing, you're gonna erase everything else from your life because you're so focused on that. So gambling disorder is a loss of control of gambling behavior that causes a significant problem with your finances, work, or personal relationships. It can also be called compulsive gambling or problem gambling. People with a gambling disorder are unable to control their gambling activities. So that's why now there's help for that, but we see all those cases, all the research that's done in the past or even now, especially with the new technology, it's becoming more and more of an issue because we have such easy access to it now. I don't know if you guys could see in this little area over here, but it says 68% of American youth between the ages of 14 and 21 have gambled in the last year. 11% gambled 2 times a week or more. And there's a 6.5% are at risk for or already have developed some type of gambling problem. So we just see it, but there's ways that you can help. So lower down, it says parents learn more. You want to learn more about the dangers of underage gambling. You want to talk to your children every day. If you're seeing there's some type of an obsession with certain gaming and or gambling issues, and just to let them know there are consequences of underage underage gambling. There's issues with that, and there are consequences down the road. With our youth, we want to know all the facts about it right before we decide, okay, what is a good game to use, what is not. We want to teach them to learn more about the dangers of underage gambling and what it looks like, and just getting involved in preventing that. So this past week, I've also talked to them about that, at the younger age as well. We want to keep educating our youth about that too. And just our community leaders. So we want to go gambling free with any family or friend event. We want to publicly express the support of gambling free and gaming free activities with the families and just learn more about it. Some warning signs of problem gambling and gaming is that the person could think often about gambling or gaming. That's kind of what's always on their mind. They can start getting a lot of headaches more. You can notice changes in someone's sleeping patterns or eating patterns. Maybe they're covering up about certain things or lying about their gambling behaviors. Maybe someone's missing time with friends or their loved ones to play that game. They could be skipping school. They could have a preoccupation with video games or internet gambling sites, sports related or TV, poker even. Missing money could happen with adequate explanation, right? Or even gambling and gaming is used to escape problems or negative feelings that one might be having. So they're doing it much more. Someone might also be gambling more money than they plan to or can afford to. And they just keep, or maybe they're even trying to unsuccessfully cut back or stop gambling, but it hasn't been working. Those are just some of the warning signs for there. A major resource that we have worked with is the New York Problem Gambling, the Long Island Problem Gambling Resource Center. They have a lot of information and a lot of resources to help people with problem gambling, who have an addiction, what if someone may have an addiction, all that stuff. They are a big asset to this and this type of addiction. but we also have all these resources as well. The New York Council of Public Gambling, OASAS. This is the certain hotline and hope line to use if people need it, or people know somebody who may be, facing those type of addictions or going to be having these types of addictions. And yeah, that is it for my presentation.
Wow, that was
a lot of information.
Well, yeah, kind of startling too, some of it. Very interesting. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Francesca?
I do. One of the things I do, this is Phyllis. One of the things that that my concern is that people who are addicted to gambling, it's very hard for them to step away, especially now, since gambling is now legal in New York State, because 'tis the season of, football, basketball, all those side bets that people are making. So my question is, how is there counseling? Because I read this article in the paper where this one guy who was like he played sports, he played professional sports. And he said he can no longer watch it because of all the commercials saying, join this gambling, join, bet here, bet here, bet here, put your money here. He says it's very, very hard. And one of the things I find very sad is that if you are a gambler and your addiction, if you have children that you want them to get involved in sports, it's kind of hard because the joke from years ago was that these two guys were sitting in the bar and they were betting on what raindrop will fall faster than the other one. So that's, and even though it's a side thing and it's a joke, it isn't a joke, because if you have children around, they are watching that. And now that, like I said, I'm a heavy duty football junkie. I love football. I'm sorry I don't gamble, because my theory is I work so hard for this money, I'm not giving it to anyone. I mean, I got to give it to the government. But my concern is the kids, because the kids are now seeing you can gamble. Here is a thing. You can do this. And how does a parent say, stop, don't watch this. This is not true. And it is true, because it's constantly on, Jake at 52. I mean, it's out there. So how do you tell a child, don't gamble? It's like telling a child, don't do drugs. As soon as your back is turned, they're going to do what they want to do. So
yeah, I think it's just the normalizing it, because even when I was younger, you Super Bowl happened, you put your bets in the boxes, all that stuff, and it's just like a fun game. You don't think anything of it at the time, but that's just kind of where it does start, and then when people are of age, they go to casinos or whatever, and you don't realize how, it does just kind of draw you in. And somebody who is very susceptible to those types of addictions or that type of feeling and trying to still hold on to those feelings, yeah, they're going to have a problem with it. I think it's just educating the parents and just letting them know, hey, you need to put that line up with your kid. It's like, you give them a scratch off, you got to be like, nope, you can do this here with mom and dad, but you can't do it until you're this age yourself. I think people don't even realize that there's actually laws with it to a point, because they do make it fun. It's always on all the, it's on so many commercials now. It pops up right on YouTube. The kids were saying like this ad and this ad or whatever. And I think it's just educating them. But there is counseling. The place I had mentioned just before, the Long Island Problem Gambling Resource Center, they have a bunch of help with that specific addiction. They do have counseling there. They do have assistance. So I can write their number and their information in the chat too with that, just so people have it and can know, because they are definitely the people to talk to. But Sharon's also going to chime in with that.
Yes,
and
thank you, Francesca, and thank you so much for all you've done for us. I really do appreciate it. You've done a great job. Thank you.
Thank you guys. It's been a pleasure working with you all. You guys obviously are very wanting to help the Glen Cove community, and you see that through all of this. And I've worked with multiple people, whatnot, and I think that's where change happens, working together. So it's been great.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, Francesca, hi, it's Ron. I just had a couple follow-ups from Phyllis. I mean, I think that one of the issues is sort of the normalization of this kind of behavior in our society. I notice even with casino gambling, they've managed to sort of conflate, like, oh no, we're not gambling. It's the gaming industry. And
That's the big thing now too. It's like you're almost like, wait, where are we? Especially for the younger generation, is the gaming that leads into the gambling. It's just
right. But yeah, but it's, I mean, I would basically sort of push back and say, no, you need to identify yourself as the gambling industry. It's not really gaming, because then that just confuses it. And I think that, I think there just needs to be more, support for parents and from various institutions to really talk about. I mean, you're not going to eliminate gambling, because people like to do it. Part of it is entertainment. People like to do it. Yeah. But I think what Phyllis is mentioning is just, it's become so pervasive and, normal in our society. And in fact, even, I mean, what is lotto? It's state, induced gambling, and because it makes a lot of money, but I do get depressed when I go into some of these, corner stores, and I see people who are basically, putting a lot of, a lot of money into lotto. I mean, hundreds of dollars. And I'm like, what the heck? The chances of your winning are so, but you're spending your money. And I kind of get it. But I think, I don't know, I just think there needs to be much bigger efforts, and certainly with organizations like yours are important to really point out, look, we're not trying to be prescriptive and say, no, no one should do this. It's, it's not, you're not trying to be moralistic, but say it requires moderation and discipline, because I think it is out of control. And it's partly because it's encouraged by institutions because it makes money for them. Supposedly, flipping it around, people gambling to turn it to educational funding. But I don't know. I mean, I think we need to really rethink some of this.
Yeah, it's definitely, just education and moderation, and just letting people know that, you're not going to get rid of it, just like you're not going to get rid of alcohol and all that stuff. And at the time, and certain age, it is legal. So, it's kind of like, all right, how can we monitor it and monitor the people who are consumed by it, and if it's legal for them or not, and go from there.
We also have a new webpage on the SAFE website dedicated specifically to problem gambling. Oh. And there are a lot of resources to and information for parents and how to talk to their children about it. We've worked with the Long Island Prevention Gambling Resource Center to put this presentation together, and they are available, and they are willing to receive phone calls and evaluate and refer people who are in need of assistance. In fact, we had a Zoom meeting with them last week to get a better understanding of how they can help individuals. It's free. They will not charge you if you need help or a family member needs help. There's a number on our problem gambling page where you can speak to them directly if you have a problem or somebody else has an issue.
Great. Okay.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Oh,
thank you, Francesca.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Francesca. That was wonderful. Well, any announcements? Let's do that next. Just jump in because I can't see you all. Nobody?
I was going to say the St. Patrick's Day Parade is coming up.
Okay.
It's on March 20th. It's going to be, we're kicking it off, like, I guess at 12 o'clock at the middle school.
Right. Right.
So, I guess, if people want to sign up for that, I'm part of Kiwanis. Somebody else signs up for it. I have no idea where to go, but it's going to happen on March 20th. That's it.
It's a good parade too. It's
it
nice
is a good parade.
To see it back again. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Okay.
This is Cindy. I have a couple things.
Sure.
I just wanted to let you know that the Congress is finally finishing their appropriations bill, which should have been passed on by October 1 of last year. But in that bill is $1 million for the city of Glen Cove for upgrading their Nancy Court pump station, and $2 million for Glen Cove Hospital so they can start a geriatric center of excellence. And there's also some funding, $300,000 to seed, I think 10 million clams in some of our harbors, including Hempstead Harbor. So all of that will benefit Glen Cove. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is that Tom is hosting a fundraiser to benefit the VFW. You know, they suffered that fire. They're hoping to be able to hold a picnic there following the Memorial Day parade, but in order to do so, they have to rebuild, and they're really short of funds. Their insurance is only covering a very small amount of the damage, so he's hoping to raise a significant amount of money. It's on March 19th at 2 o'clock at the Polish Hall. Tickets are $50 each and includes food, beverage, and entertainment.
Great. Okay. Anybody else? No? Okay, next month.
Hi, this is Ann. Can you hear me? I'm in my car.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good morning. And Cindy, so excited for all of that news. Thank you again. I just wanted to let everyone know that the CDA board and the city council approved the community development block grant application for the 48th year last night. So we'll be in touch with the public service agencies and everyone. We were able to put in an extra project for the senior center, so we're really excited. So I will be letting everyone know, hopefully a little later on this year once we hear back from the county. Thanks again to Camille Byrne for everything she does with that application, and I hope everyone has a safe day.
Great news. Okay, next month, I've forgotten already who Spiro said was speaking. Does anybody remember?
We're going to Spiro's house at his house.
Oh yeah, we're going to his house.
For breakfast. And I hope he has like bacon and eggs and has a good meeting for us.
There's a barbecue. We're having a barbecue for our future mayor. That's true.
Yes, and vote for Spiro. And Jamae for Nassau County Executive.
Right.
We run everything through the IAC here.
Yeah, right, we'll run it.
Cindy had somebody that it was gonna speak, right, Cindy?
Yeah, this woman from Roslyn contacted us. She's with the one of the synagogues there, and I'm sorry, Temple Beth Salome, and her daughter started a project in Brooklyn where they hook up a refrigerator and volunteers keep it filled with food, and then anyone who feels that they need food comes and takes it. And they've been doing this in Brooklyn. They have multiple locations, and her synagogue is interested in doing something like this on the North Shore. And so when she contacted our office, I immediately thought of IAC, and she wants to make a presentation to see if she's looking for a location to put the fridge, and then her synagogue would keep it filled. But I thought that maybe if she spoke with all of you, you could give her some suggestions on whether you think it's feasible in Glen Cove, and if so, where she should consider putting it, who she should reach out to.
That's great, thank you. And the other speakers will be Rhoda Feiner, who was the originator of IAC, and Dr. Vogren, who picked it up in, I think it was 1984, he said, and kind of expanded it more, because when Rhoda did it, she and another woman just did it on their own. So they're going to speak and give us a quick history of where we started and why we've been around for 50 years, which I think is remarkable. So that's it. Anyone else have anything?
You guys want me to do the treasury report or?
Oh, yes, sorry about that.
Well, I mean, this is the highlight of my day. So really briefly, we have 51 agencies in total. We only have 6 that are outstanding, but I think we're going to be fine in terms of one is sitting on Spiro's desk, from what I heard, and I spoke with the others. The only ones that I'm still finalizing with is, I don't know if she's still on, Island Harvest. I'll connect with her. And the other, Glen Cove City and Glen Cove School District, we already spoke, and you guys are going to be paying very shortly as well. So we've only had a couple of expenses and mostly membership coming in. So overall, our grand total budget balance right now is just under 8,000. So I know we're looking to do something fun with it and support some needed organizations we spoke about a couple of times. So I'm sure we're gonna come up with a grand plan for that. Does anybody have any questions or anything?
No, I think the few that I see removed never were really active. So
Yes, I mean, and if there's other organizations that want to join us, we obviously would love to include them as well. So these are all, you know, updated and you know, connected with, and everybody should be receiving our emails. The other thing that we just did, which is still being switched over, is our new website. So our new website is going to still have the same extension, which is IAC glencove.org. But right now we're switching it over. It says wildapricot.org. But this is what it's going to look like when it's finally switched over. It'll have, you know, just kind of a nicer open page. We can feature our members with our contact information. If at one point I'm going to add more logos as well. It has our Facebook feed on the bottom here. And the other thing is, when you guys send me your membership news to the IAC web email, I post it on here. So when we send out emails, it links right back to here. So people can always see the information that you have posted and sent us, as well as any job postings. So we're trying to just, you know, help out anybody that needs to post information about jobs. There should be an option. I'm looking into an option where you, as a member of our group, can just post it yourself. So you don't even need to email it to me. I'm still working on figuring that one out. But, you know, we have the full directory, which is very accessible now. You could just do a search or go through. You can see I started adding some logos. So if you have a logo and you want to send it to me, feel free. But I was just doing some web searches. And then you can see our lovely faces here of our executive board. Again, if you want your lovely face on it, you can send me your photo.
Might have to update that photo.
Oh, where are you? Yeah, I took it from our last event because that was the easiest one to grab all your photos. But if you want to update your photo, feel free to send it to me. We still have our pantry calendar. I believe Colleen is still updating it. So if there's anything incorrect on it, let us know. Or if you added something that you know, we could always update it. So this is something that you could share with everyone. And this website's for anyone. So anyone can come on here and take a look. And of course, our membership meetings, our information's on there. Well, obviously this is because I'm going through my view, but if you want to pay for a membership or you want to refer somebody, you can click here and then become a member. So it's all online now. So it's easy enough. A lot of you have paid online, so it's easy. And you know, we still have checks that come in as well, which is fine. And that's it.
Can you give your email if someone wants to have you send out a notification?
Yeah, so right now our email address for notification, like if you want to send me something to send out to people, is Glen Cove IAC at gmail.com. Glen Cove IAC. Glen Cove, I was just going to say, but that's it. And we're going to be changing that, but right now that's what the email extension is.
Okay.
I think
I'm
Sharon
still
wanted to, I'm sorry, I think Sharon wanted to tell a little bit about the job thing. Yeah, just so in case you guys know of anyone. Yeah, I don't know if she's there. Sharon, you there?
Yes,
oh, she's there. Okay, just, yeah, whenever you're ready.
Just unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, great. I just wanted to reach out to the membership because unfortunately Francesca is leaving us. And S.A.F.E is looking for a social worker or a mental health counselor who can help us in the office as well as at school doing life skills training for our elementary school students, our life skills training program, and also most importantly, our community walk-in program. Thank you, CDA, Camille, working with our residents that are in need of alcohol, substance use, mental health, and a myriad of issues that come through City Hall to our office, either through our friends here at IAC, through the mayor's office direct, through CDA. We've had the program for many, many years. It's free to the community. We also have a SNAP representative that's comes to the office on Thursdays. So if there are residents in need of that, there is somebody available to help them on site to fill out those applications in English and in Spanish. So if anybody knows of a social worker or a mental health counselor looking to work with our community residents on a variety of issues, I would hope that they would have alcohol and substance use prevention background, as well as some background in working with youth, because ultimately I would like them to facilitate our life skills training program in the fall when we begin again at the elementary and middle school.
Can you give a contacts for SAFE then, please?
Sure. Our phone number is 676-2008. Our fax number is 516-676-2564. Email address is safeglencove@yahoo.com.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
I'll put that on the chat for anybody who missed it.
Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Good, okay. Any other announcements, questions? No?
Okay. Question, Carolyn. Yeah, I know that a lot of things have been deferred by COVID. Did we have any further discussion about our deferred 50th anniversary celebration, or is that still something we're looking at?
No, I think at this point, that's why we're going to have Rhoda and Dan on next month.
Okay.
We're going to have just to get the history out, but I think that is deferred.
Got it.
Yeah. And I think maybe we'll make a donation to something. I don't know. We'll have to talk about it with the board. We're hoping, if all goes well, to have the May meeting at the high school, our annual school meeting, have it actually at the high school. So maybe next month will be our last Zoom, which for some is good, for some is bad.
I would like to join Ron's desire to party. I like to party too. So we should probably do something in the fall.
Right. Well, that would be good. Yeah. Once we're comfortable, everybody's comfortable with it. That would be fun. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? All right. Well, thank you all and have a great day. Bye.